I am Moses. I have seen the burning bush and the parting of the sea. I have carried the weight of a stiff-necked people across a scorching wilderness. But before I wrote the law on stone, I had to write the history of our grief. The Spirit showed me the moment the world broke not with a bang, but with a bite. It was the moment silence became terrifying. The wind shifted. It was no longer the warm, caressing breeze that carried the scent of jasmine and myrrh. Now it bit at their skin, a sensation they had never known. Cold. Adam's hands trembled violently. His fingers, usually so dexterous in tending the vines, fumbled clumsily with the large fig leaves. The rough texture scraped against his skin, irritation blooming where there was once only perfection. "Hurry," Adam whispered, his voice cracking. It was the first time he had ever whispered. Before this, his voice had been a song, a command to the beasts, a poem to his wife. Now it was a jagged thing, sharp with panic. Eve sat on the mossy root of a great tree, her knees drawn to her chest. She wasn't looking at Adam. She was staring at her own hands sticky with the juice of the fruit. She rubbed them against the dirt, trying to clean them, but the stain felt deeper than skin. "He will come," Eve murmured, her eyes wide, reflecting the dying light of the sun. "He always comes in the cool of the day, Adam. What will we do?" "We hide," Adam snapped. He tied the makeshift garment around his waist, the green leaves wilting even as he worked. He looked at Eve, really looked at her, and for the first time, he didn't see bone of his bones or flesh of his flesh. He saw an accuser. He saw his own shame reflected in her eyes. "Cover yourself, woman. Do not let him see you like this." Eve flinched at his tone. Tears, hot and unfamiliar, blurred her vision. She hastily arranged the leaves Adam threw at her. The harmony of the garden was fracturing. The birdsong sounded like mocking laughter. The rustle of the grass sounded like a serpent's hiss. Then they heard it. It wasn't thunder. It wasn't an earthquake. It was far more terrifying. It was the rhythmic, gentle sound of footsteps walking through the garden. Walking. The familiarity of the sound shattered them. It was the sound of love approaching, but to a rebellious heart, love feels like judgment. Crunch, crunch, crunch. "The trees," Adam gasped, grabbing Eve's wrist. His grip was too tight. Into the thicket. Now. They scrambled into the dense undergrowth, thorns scratching their arms, the earth already turning against them. They pressed their faces into the dirt, their hearts hammering against their ribs like trapped birds. The footsteps stopped. The silence that followed was heavy enough to crush mountains. Then the voice came. It did not roar. It did not scream. It was sorrowful, vast, and penetrating. "Adam, where art thou?" Adam squeezed his eyes shut. He wanted to dissolve into the dust he was made from. But he could not refuse that voice. Slowly, shaking like a leaf in a storm, he rose from behind the bush. He could not look up. He stared at his dirty feet, at the fig leaves that looked so foolish now. "I heard thy voice in the garden," Adam choked out, the truth tearing through his throat, "and I was afraid because I was naked. And I hid myself." The admission hung in the air, the first confession in human history. The sun finally dipped below the horizon, and the first night of the world began.